Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Evelyn of Pink Sheep Design, aka the Pink Sheep, and I just want to welcome you to my Learn to Crochet playlist here on my channel. This is something new. It's something I've been thinking about for a really long time. I have always focused on creating beginner-friendly crochet patterns, so I figured it only made sense for me to create kind of a one-stop shop for anyone who's interested in learning how to crochet and taking you from the very beginning and basics of the foundation of the craft all the way to being able to follow some of my beginner-friendly patterns and create some of your own amazing projects. So welcome to this playlist. This is kind of the intro, especially if you purchased my Learn to Crochet kit from my Etsy shop. The link to that is in the description if you're interested in checking that out. But I just wanted to go over what comes in that kit and get started on learning how to crochet. So if you purchased my kit, and if you didn't purchase my kit, these are the things that I recommend for teaching yourself how to crochet using either my YouTube videos or other YouTube videos. The first thing you're going to need is your yarn. So I recommend using a super bulky size 6 yarn. And sorry about the airplane overhead. We're really close to an airport where I live. But you're going to want to choose a super bulky size 6 yarn. And the way that you know which yarn to choose is you're going to grab some yarn and you're going to flip it to the back where you can read all of the instructions. So you'll be able to see how many ounces and grams, how many yards. But under that there should be a little yarn logo. So I'm going to flip this around right here. So you should see a yarn logo. Let's see if I can get a little closer for you guys. That'll focus in. So there's a little yarn logo right here and it has a number on it. And we are going to want the size 6 super bulky yarn. This is one of my top recommendations. It's called Hometown USA by Lion Brand Yarn. One of the reasons I recommend this is because it's easy to find. So I can usually find this at my local Walmart, Joann's or Michael's or Hobby Lobby. Well, I don't think Hobby Lobby, but Walmart for sure, I get it. You can find it online in a lot of different places, but this is 100% acrylic. And then there's another one that I recommend that is also a size 6. So we'll come back to check out the back of that yarn. You can see the yarn logo and it says size 6. This is called Wool Ease Thick and Quick. So I also recommend this one. This is another great super bulky yarn. This is a wool blend. So if you have any issues with wool, I would recommend the Hometown USA. But both of these are fantastic. And the reason that I recommend using super bulky yarn is because it's easier for you to see your stitches. And as a beginner, that's super helpful when you're trying to learn how to crochet and really try to figure out what you're doing and see what's happening. The other great thing is it works up really quick. So when you're a beginner, you don't want to work on your first project for months. You know, you really want something that's going to be a little more of an instant gratification so you can really see that progress happening quickly. And I think that's pretty helpful when you're first learning how to crochet. So that's the yarn. You're going to want to get a super bulky size 6 yarn. If you purchase my Learn to Crochet kit, you will get a skein of one of these and you'll get to choose between acrylic or wool blend. The other thing you're going to need is a hook. So if you purchase my kit, you're going to get a hook that looks just like this. This is a Susan Bates 16mm crochet hook. I hope that's, yes, there we go. This is what it's going to look like. This will come in your kit with your yarn and it will be ready for you to go so that you can start learning how to crochet using this playlist. If you are out and about and you want to purchase one yourself, most stores are going to have one that looks like this. So this is also a 16mm hook, but I call it my big blue. They're really cheap. They're, you know, I think anywhere from $3 to $6 to get one of these. Sometimes they'll come in a set. You'll have a blue one and a gray one that's a little bit smaller. But these are 16mm hooks. Now you might find one that's like a 15.75. I think that's the one just below it. That's perfectly fine. But somewhere in that range of 15 to 16 is really great to use with this super bulky yarn to really start to learn those stitches, understand how to hold your work, and just learn how to crochet in general. So once you get your yarn and you've got your hooks, the only other things that you're going to need really the only other one thing you'll really need are some scissors. So this is just a cute little pair of shears. This is from Hobby Yarn online. So scissors are great. You'll need those to cut the ends and to finish off your work. Some of the things that you don't necessarily have to have, but it's nice to have if you're continuing to crochet and you want to create some projects, are going to be a tapestry needle. So these are like just large sewing needles. I hope that focuses in for you. Here we go. Let's put that up there and see if it focuses for you. Nope, doesn't want to focus. Let me put my hand up here. But you can see it's just like an extra large sewing needle. And this is one of our flexible ones. These are the ones that we include in our kits, the kit in my Etsy shop. But you can also find them in metal. So this is a metal version of a tapestry needle. See if that'll focus in for you. But you can find both of these. These are really great because when you finish your project, you're going to need to weave in your ends. And this is what you would use to do that and make that a little easier on yourself. Something else that you may need in the future, you won't need right away. See, I had some in my pocket, would be stitch markers. So these are little stitch markers that we sell in our shop. We do include stitch markers in the Learn to Crochet kit, but these are the crochet version. So the crochet version actually has an opening so you can slip it over your stitch. You don't want to buy the circular, the ones that don't have any kind of opening. Some of them are just one round circle. Those are for knitting. So the stitch markers that don't have a little opening or clasp are the ones that you would use if you're learning how to knit, because they would go over the needles. We need the kind that have an opening somewhere to slip it over each stitch. So those are the stitch markers. So that's really a general overview of what you're going to need to follow along with this playlist and learn your stitches. Another thing that I wanted to cover before we get started is how to frog your work. So if you've never heard that term, frogging your work means that you're going to take it apart. So if I create, let's see, here we go. If I created a swatch, so let's say the second video in this series is how to single crochet, and you're going to create a little swatch of work of single crochet stitches. When you get done, so this is actually a hat that I was working on. When you get done with that swatch, let's pretend this is your swatch, you're going to take that working yarn and you are just going to pull your work apart. And I know that that seems sad because you did all that work, but you don't need 10 swatches of different stitches to keep. You don't want to waste your yarn. So you can learn something new, and then you can take it apart. And you can either wind that yarn up in a little ball, just using your hands. So you can wrap it around your hands and then wrap that yarn around. And then you can use that same yarn that you used to learn how to single crochet when you go to the next video and you practice your half double crochets. So you're pretty much making these different swatches, and then you're taking the swatch apart and then you're redoing it with the same yarn. So that way, once you're finished learning all of these different stitches, you'll be able to take those swatches apart, and then you'll still have all of the yarn you received in your kit or that you purchased to actually then maybe create a project. And my goal is to have what I'm going to be calling, and I'm going to film it very soon. And by the time you're watching that, it was probably already a part of the playlist. It'll be the last video in this playlist, and it's going to be called my sampler hat. So once you're finished learning how to chain, how to single crochet, double crochet, half double crochet, how to work in the round, how to create a magic circle, which are all videos in my playlist, there will be a final video that's actually called a sampler hat project. So after you've frogged all of your little swatches and you've practiced all of your stitches, you're going to be able to create a hat that uses all of these techniques, puts it all together, and you create a hat. And that's actually what this hat is. I just have to film it. So I'm going to be frogging this and then recreating it on film so that you guys can follow along. So I believe that's everything. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. You can always reach out to me on Instagram at Pink Sheep Design. You can also email me at egb91011@gmail.com. I'd be happy to answer your questions if you have any concerns or questions about these videos, or if you get confused. I'm more than happy to help. So yeah, let's get started and learn how to crochet.